On guys, BC coming at you for the second time today. That's right, a few hours ago we busted out a live stream. I was out in the world and everybody called for a lunch and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna talk to the unit. So we went over a bunch of stuff like SmackDown's ratings for Sasha Banks and Bayley and how they not only stole the show, but they pulled in the biggest number since WrestleMania. We talked about that. We talked about AEW's buy rate for their pay-per-view All Out and everything and anything in between, man. We talked about it in that live stream. If you didn't catch it, check it out. It should be on the channel by now, I think. I haven't had a chance to go back and check it. Hopefully there wasn't too many lag issues or anything like that. Again, I haven't been able to go back and check it out, but judging from the live stream, everything seemed to be okay, at least. Everybody was having fun and definitely a good time. So we got back to the crib. I was able to regroup for about 20 minutes. There was a lot of news that I kind of was hit with, so I wanted to make another video and go over this real quick with you. Several topics, actually. I'll try to make this quick as possible. And then we're going to hit the gym, man, for about hour and a half. Full upper body today. So I've been kind of lagging on that the last several days, man. So it's time to do the full upper body, and that'll take us into SmackDown tonight. So I kind of wanted this set up a little bit because I want you guys to see that in the background. And you see that's good old New York City. And a city that's near and dear to my heart, and I know so many of you guys. And today is a special day. It's 9/11. And on this day, back in 2001, 19 years ago, I think it's safe to say that every single one of us remember exactly where we were on that Tuesday morning. And I know I do, man. I was probably late teenage years by that point. And I was hitting bottles pretty hard, you know. I was partying pretty hard. I was like one of these Retribution members throwing temper tantrums probably at house parties. What do you mean the cops are coming, man? I'm not done with my 30-pack. I haven't reached the bottom of this vodka bottle. You know what I mean? Like, that was probably what I was thinking at the time. So anyway, I was able to somehow stumble home probably very late on that Monday night, early Tuesday morning, somehow found the bed, passed out, and somebody had came into the room, maybe a little past 8 a.m. something. I forget the time, but it was pretty early, you know, and I got back really late. So I was like, get out of here. And they're like, dude, are you seeing what's happening? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, turn on the TV. So, you know, I'm all groggy. I'm reaching for the remote. I don't know where it is. I'm really reaching for an extra beer at that point. But if I could find the remote and put this on, maybe this son of a bitch will get the fuck out of my room. So I click on the TV, and sure enough, I mean, there's the top. Now at this point, I'm not in New York City, guys. I came from New England, so I was in and out of New York City growing up with my grandfather, and you know, to watch a lot of sporting events, things of that nature. But I didn't know the ins and outs of New York. I just knew that a really tall building was fucked up. Something hit that son of a bitch. And at that point, we're thinking other things too. We didn't know if something struck it. People thought it was a plane or whatnot. But while I'm watching this, and again, I'm groggy and I had a long night beforehand. But while I'm watching this, I see another. It's definitely, there's no second guessing myself, or maybe I didn't see what I just saw. I saw a second plane come into frame and hit the second tower. Now, the newscast that I was watching, the channel, they didn't see it at first. Now, I understand they have a lot of shit that's going on. They're live on the air. They're trying to go over their notes. They probably got 6 screens and 2 directors that they're trying to adhere to. So maybe they didn't see that. I saw it, and it took them a minute to kind of catch up. And they're like, wait, I think we just saw another explosion from that building. And I'm like, nah, brah, that's not an explosion. Another plane hit the second building. Now, finally, after a couple of minutes, they reframed the footage, and they saw exactly what I saw. And it didn't take much longer after where That first tower ended up crumbling down live on air. I'm watching this unfold. And you really can't grasp the magnitude of it until you really understand it just takes a while to really hit you. And it really starts to hit you days, weeks, months later. And it finally hit you like a ton of bricks what happened. And that's what happened to me. And unless you know New York City, I mean, you cannot really be floored in the way that New Yorkers were floored. And I found that out when I moved to New York. And I would just walk by the financial district. I would just stumble upon it, not even thinking about the Twin Towers. But I would stumble into the financial district and I would see this new Freedom Tower, even before it was being built, because that's what stands there now. And of course, the memorial for 9/11. And man, you come across it and you're just instantly met with all of these feelings and emotions. And I remember where I was in New England watching this unfold. And then I think about where I am right now, at the site, where it actually happened. And there's nothing, when I come across the financial district, when I come across where the towers used to stand, and now the Freedom Tower, and I've been in that Freedom Tower. I've been really high above in that Freedom Tower. And you can't help but think so many thoughts. It's a day we'll never forget. It's a day we'll never forget where we were when it unfolded. And it's a day where we always stop for a moment, many moments, and we just remember all of the lives that were senselessly taken for the most stupid of reasons and the most dumbest of acts that imaginable. And so many brave people, so many badasses. Man, the heroes on that day, plentiful, so many. From the ones we lost to the ones that we still have here today, put their lives on the line. So the whole cold open right now to this video is just honoring everybody that went through that day in New York City, but around the globe. People that had family members there, that people that were just touched by it. Americans, people around the world that know how senseless this was. Everybody involved. Man, I wasn't able to say that in the live stream because the live stream was just bonkers. I'm trying to get things organized. The live chat's moving fast. Knocking the camera over. I got bees around me. I got fucking trucks going by me. I'm trying to watch the time so I'm not late back to the meeting. But once I got home, I realized, and once I knew I was going to do another vid, man, I knew I had to speak about 9/11. So thank you guys for allowing me about 5 to 10 minutes just to talk about September 11th, 2001, and here we are 19 years later. And it's not any easier, but time does heal all wounds. And hopefully the family members and the friends and the acquaintances of those that were lost, hopefully they carry their loved one's name on in the most greatest of ways. But so moving on, guys, right? I know that's a little more heavy, but I wasn't able to talk about that, so it's something that needed to be said. So God bless New York and every single person out there. Before I get to the big news, guys, here, which is all of these layoffs, releases, and cuts that is happening once again in WWE, I first and foremost have some side note news. Number one, Hell in a Cell, the pay-per-view set for Sunday, November 1st, is now being moved forward 1 week to Sunday, October 25th. Now, the only reasoning I can think of is maybe somebody with an actual brain in their dome piece realized that's just 3 weeks before their fourth biggest pay-per-view of the year, Survivor Series. Because if you kept Hell in a Cell at November 1st, you only have 3 weeks to build Survivor Series. And they're just now realizing this. That's all I can think of why you would move this so... I mean, it's coming up pretty soon. Just a few weeks away. And now it's being moved to October 25th. Hell in a Cell. So I think it makes more sense right before Halloween, the build up to Halloween, Hell in a Cell. It makes sense. Why have it afterwards anyway? And why have a pay-per-view 3 weeks before Survivor Series? So the whole thing was dumb anyway. We're starting to hear word, and I believe this is going to be confirmed by this week, guys. By what's today? Well, I think it's already probably confirmed. This was news that was sent to me while I was actually live streaming, so I have to check back, but it's probably confirmed right now. I don't think they're going to wait till next week to confirm this, but it looks like Hell in a Cell is being moved to the 25th of October, 1 full week earlier, and this will give us a month between Survivor Series and Hell in a Cell. I think that makes the most sense. Also, guys, it is being said that the reason Asuka and Mickie James is happening on Raw this week and not at the Clash of Champions, or I call it the Cheesecake of Champions, because that's more interesting. The reason we're not getting Mickie James and Asuka at Clash of Champions, but on Monday night instead, is because Vince McMahon wants Asuka to take on Natty Neidhart at Clash of Champions. Now, anything can change. This is just what we're hearing, the upfront word. And if that is the case, I can't even. I'm literally going to find the nearest cement wall, head first right through that son bitch. You're going to tell me you're going to sacrifice an awesome Mickie James versus Asuka match, which we already know would kick ass because we saw it at NXT Toronto TakeOver, and it kicked ass. You put it on the main roster, you give them 3 or 4 more minutes at least, and you let them do their thing. That's pay-per-view worthy. You're going to give that away on Monday night just to give Asuka Natty Neidhart? And then they wonder why this company is in shambles. I hope they rethink this. I hope enough people come to their senses and try to get word to Vince that that's not a good idea. I hope there's schmozzery this Monday night, and I hope we get Mickie and Asuka at Clash of Champions where it should be. Give them 15 to 20 minutes at least. Let them rock. Speaking of Vince, it's being said that the old man in Stamford wanted to end the third-party interactions between superstars and platforms months ago. But the only reason it didn't happen was because they were having second thoughts. They, meaning the suits and ties, they knew, Vince McMahon more than anybody, that this could create a problem and draw attention to the term independent contractor. Which could bite the old man in the ass, obviously, because he gets away with so much by calling them independent contractors and not employees. He gets away with everything just because he uses that phrase. So he knew that this could be an issue and could come back to bite him in the ass. And in fact, it could unionize wrestlers. And that's the dreaded word for Vince McMahon. Now, interestingly enough, Eric Bischoff recently talked about just that and how many wrestlers are starting to talk about unionizing. Now, if anybody, Bischoff knows a lot of chatter within the industry. Don't think just because he isn't around it every day, this guy isn't hearing things. Now, if he's hearing himself that wrestlers are starting to talk about that, it makes pretty much sense. I even talked about it, guys, how unionizing is starting to be talked about. And then, of course, you heard Mr. Andrew Yang talk about it. And if he gets a high seat in Congress, Vince McMahon could be in big trouble here. You could start to see the seeds planted for a unionization. And usually when the seeds are planted, Vince McMahon ruins it from the beginning. He makes sure he fires people or punishes them, even for speaking about unionizing. But now you get enough people that say, all right, that's enough. You could be in trouble. And I think that's why we start to see WWE backpedaling. Oh, now you can use Twitch. You can use YouTube. Yes, just use your real name. And I'm sure you're going to hear wrestlers speaking out more about how they're unhappy with certain shit. And Vince will backpedal more. Because now we're starting to hear that dreaded word for the old man, unionizing. And if they unionize, it ain't going to be long before they're no longer independent contractors. They are employees with benefits. And Vince is in a world of shit. Now, this leads us into the main story here before I let you guys go. And I know this is the second time I'm coming with you guys, so I'll try to keep this around 20 minutes. The biggest story is obviously what could end up being over 100 employees in talent being released by the end of September, which means by the end of just a few weeks, we could have over 100 employees in talent cuts. Most for good, because we're hearing up to 60 employees have already been let go in the last 72 hours. Up to 60 employees already cut. And some were already furloughed, so this is absolutely the end of the road for them. And some just receiving their walking papers in the last 72 hours. So this is the first they're hearing about it. They got to make that phone call to their loved ones. I'm out of a job. So we're hearing up to 60 already. That could be even more. This is just upfront rumor that we're hearing. And among some of those names that have been confirmed for their releases is producer Sarah Stock, producer Mike Rotunda, who you guys may remember as IRS, big tag team with Ted DiBiase, Money Incorporated. And of course, Mike Rotunda is the father of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas. That producer, Mike Rotunda, cut. Staff writer Anthony Beningo. Nearly the entire live event staff division of WWE headquarters let go. The entire live, and we know the live event staff, from what we're hearing, the exact word is it's in shambles. They don't even know if there's ever going to be live events anymore outside of TV. Not for the foreseeable future, not in 2021 for sure. So they basically just cut the whole division. So we hope nothing but the best for that. I mean, that's a lot of people. And perhaps kind of a shocker, Gerald Briscoe was let go. And of course, he is one of the old man's right-hand men for decades. Gerald Briscoe, remember, one of the Stooges. He's been right there with Vince McMahon through it all. If one dude is not going to be let go, it's Gerald Briscoe. No, this was absolutely Vince McMahon pulling that strong arm. This was Vince McMahon showing everyone within that company that anyone and everyone is on the chopping block at any time. Vince went straight savage when he let go of Gerald Briscoe. That's just what happened, guys. You have to believe this was a clear message. And now we're hearing, of course, that more talent cuts, not just employees, talent cuts are scheduled in the next few weeks. We're hearing names like house party members. We don't know which 2 out of the 3, 1 out of the 3, maybe all 3. Maybe that's why they're starting to set up a little breakage. Maybe they have one in mind they want to kind of keep, and a couple are gone. Viking Raiders were a tag team that we are hearing. It seems like a lot of tag, right? Gallows and Anderson were the first to go. FTR, they said, check you later. It's like they don't even want to keep tag teams around, much less do anything with them. But we're hearing the Viking Raiders. Now, with Ivar's injury, is that on hold? Was maybe the injury, in a weird way, a blessing in disguise? Maybe they keep their jobs. But we're hearing the Viking Raiders. It's amazing. If you would have told me when they were War Machine or the War Raiders that once they got to the main roster, they'd be used in board games, triathlons, decathlons, playing tennis, basketball. They were going to use them driving around in a soccer mom van eating chicken, and then they were going to be released. I would have said you done fallen on your dome piece too many times as a kid, but that's how they were used. So don't be shocked if the Viking Raiders get cut somehow. And we're also hearing Ali is not high on Vince McMahon's list. Hasn't been, obviously. That's why he's been wrestling on Main Event. Probably you guys don't even know that. But Ali is still with the company. He's been wrestling on the Main Event show, so just not on TV. Vince is just not high on him. He's a good talent. You know, a lot of people are high on Ali, but Vince is not one of those people. We're hearing he's on the chopping block. And there's other names too, guys. I don't want to get too much into the rumor mill. I can fucking speak. Another coffee before I hit the gym. I don't want to give you guys 20 names, because then it creates too much chatter. We don't officially know what talents are going to be cut. That's just the truth. These are just names that were up front on the chopping block that I heard of, and I wanted to send that along to you guys. But when this is all said and done, the main story here is we're hearing up to 60 employees have already been cut. I gave you guys a few names, some shockers like IRS and, of course, Gerald Briscoe, Vince's right-hand man. And we're hearing another 40 plus could be coming, and a lot of talents by the end of September. Now, the funny thing is, maybe not funny, but with Miro's debut in AEW, does Vince kind of hold back the talent cuts that were scheduled? Does he not want any names out there? Just in case they could go over to AEW. From what it looks like is Vince doesn't give a fuck who AEW grabs. He's cutting people to save that almighty dollar. It is clear, it was clear in the first round that he doesn't care about the dudes and the gals that are on his watch, that are in his employees. He doesn't care what happens to them. He's going to cut them to save money. He doesn't care who winds up in any promotion if it's going to save him money in his wallet and in his bank account. He just doesn't care about people. You know, I don't want to say that too much viciously or in a cruel way, but he just, everything he does, it's about and it's for Vince. And I know that's ruthless business, and to be successful in business, you have to have that. But I've seen some things from Vince during this pandemic that even for Vince, I kind of have to be like, wow, that's ruthless to another level, man. But maybe that's how he became so successful. But if the people that work for you can't respect you or can't trust you or look at you like, dude, seriously, you know, I wouldn't want to be that kind of boss. I would hope to find a successful way, a way I can be successful, but a way that my employees and talent can respect me, you know. I don't know, guys. But when this is all said and done, do not be surprised if over 100 more people are definitively let go, either from furloughs previous or brand new cuts, releases, and you're fired. Because that's what it's looking like, guys. It's another kind of black cloud day for WWE headquarters, and it looks to continue over September. Anyway, this just went over the 20-minute mark. I wanted to keep this around that. Thank you guys for tuning in for a second BC vid. Today, of course, we live streamed earlier, and just some news and notes that I wanted to go over with you guys, and talk a little bit about 9/11 as well. And I know you guys got your stories as well. And for Zelina Vega, I know her father, Zelina was directly impacted by this. She lost her father, I believe. I remember covering a story just last year. I did a video piece on that. And I believe she lost her father in that attack. So for Zelina Vega, I know this is a powerful day, and I know for a lot of you guys as well. So I wanted to make sure that I came in front of you guys and spoke a little bit about this. Now I got to literally down a coffee. We're going to hit that gym. And I assure you, trust me when I say this, I am going to whoop that ass right now. There is no amount of weight that I ain't going to handle. And I'm going to pump and I'm going to fuck shit up until I'm good and ready to leave. We get amplified right now. To all the men and women that were sacrificed in 9/11, the heroes, thank you so much. To those still with us today, and to those no longer with us, always in our hearts and in our minds, man. Never forget. Always remembered. Check you later.